Welcome back to another episode of Uncontested Investing. Today we have a special guest, Tom Truong, real estate entrepreneur. Tom, I don't think we can have a graphic long enough for everything that you've accomplished in the industry, so we're going to boil it down to real estate entrepreneur, but we really appreciate your time and being here in the studio today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
So we got a fresh face. You don't have to deal with just Suzanne and I today. We're continuing along with our Building Your Team theme, though, and Tom is a perfect person to speak on that topic. So, Tom, let's get right into it. You've come a long way. You've accomplished a lot in the industry, but can you take us back to your start? What was that initial decision, conversation, maybe, a few weeks time period of deciding to get into the real estate industry for you?
Great question. So this is my second career, Suzanne and Nate. My first career was in the insurance business. I was in the property casualty insurance business for 13 years. Worked my way literally from the mail room straight out of college into the second corner office, which is the area chief financial officer position for a publicly traded insurance firm. And for the last 6 of those 13 years, I was cutting checks for our salespeople. And here I am burning the midnight oil as an accountant, doing New Year's Eve, New Year's party, everyone's party, and my team are in the back office crunching numbers because we've got to report our numbers back to the investors, back to Wall Street. And for those last 6 years, I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be a better way. And by the way, I worked my tail off, and the salespeople got to be on the golf courses. They got to look like they had a great lifestyle by whining and dining. And I said to myself, I've got to become an entrepreneur and own my own business. I've got to figure out, and if I'm going to do that, I maybe should look at the sales career instead of the accounting back office career. So it was over a course of time where I said, I just got to do this. And then the pivotal moment was when my oldest sister, remember the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Robert had just written that book, and my oldest sister, bought a ticket, and along with the ticket, a weekend wherever we went, I think it was in Florida, Orlando, and you can bring along a guest. So she was going to bring her significant other back then, and then he backed out, and she called me. So I went to that event with Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that opened my eyes to real estate investing. And one thing that Robert said in that stage that really resonated with me was, he says, if I could do it all over again, I would go broke faster. I would be bankrupt faster, because the faster I learn my lessons of life, of being an entrepreneur, the more time I have to recoup and make it up. Because if I waited too long in my career, most people get too conservative and they just set in their ways and they don't have time to take risks. And that was the beginning of me coming back and learning, okay, how do I flip houses? How do I renovate homes? In the day, I wear my suit and tie.
Yep.
At night, I take it off, put on my construction stuff, and renovated properties.
There we go. Wow, a little bit of serendipity. I love that story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The number of clients and teams you've trained is staggering and impressive. What impact do you try to make across those folks that you deal with?
The impact I want to leave on the folks that I get the pleasure of working with is that they can do it too, as long as they have someone to walk alongside them. See, a lot of folks go and they take training, they take courses, they get it from a book, they get it from a professor. They do real estate investment classes, they have coaches, but then when it comes to doing the deal, those people are teaching them, don't put their money where their mouth is, and don't walk in their shoes with them. And so for me, my style is that, hey man, if I think this is good for you, I'm going to do it with you if you would like. If you bring me a deal and you say, that's a good deal, Tom, do you think it's a good deal? I would only say, yes, it's a good deal if I'm willing to put my own money into it. And many times I walk that path with them to do a deal with them. So that's the impression I make. I'm not just a regular coach, but I'll coach and walk with you and do the deal with you.
Well, and practical and hands-on approach shows that you're invested.
I'm invested.
Not only in you, but in them as a team. And that's key.
Yeah. So that's the impression I want to make, is that you don't have to do it alone. Many people find themselves doing it alone. Many investors find that, they go to real estate investment events and networking, but no one really opens up their playbook and shares the most intimate secrets. They don't share their contractor list. They don't share all these things because guess what? They're training the competition, unlike what I'm doing.
Co-opetition.
Co-opetition. Yeah, collaboration.
Yeah.
That's a perfect answer. And that's exactly why we brought you on today, because you have that mindset, and that give back attitude is infectious. So we appreciate everything you've done for the industry. As I mentioned, the titles go on and on. One of the impressive ones that you've also held is National President for the Asian Real Estate Association of America. So what were some of the goals you had when you were a leader there in fostering that team atmosphere, that community?
Sure. So one of my motto, since I've been in the business world, is do well, do good. Do well financially so you can do good in your communities. Because if you don't do well financially and take care of the home front first, how are you going to go out and give back to everybody else? And so I brought that mentality, that motto from my private business into the non-for-profit business, the Asian Real Estate Association of America. Right, our mission is to promote sustainable housing for everybody, fair housing and affordable housing, and make it sustainable. And when I ran for national president, by the way, that was a non-paying volunteer position that took me away from my family, my home. I personally invested in the nonprofit where I didn't really get reimbursed for it or get paid for it. But there's a bigger cause. The bigger cause is
You get it here.
You get it right here. Yeah. And that is to really help folks achieve wealth through real estate or real estate education. Same thing you guys are doing here at RCN Capital, right? The Asian Real Estate Association of America. The second piece is to inspire others to step up to serve in their communities. So my my war chant when I was national president was building bench strength. It wasn't about me. It wasn't me being the national president. I wanted to be the leader that served everybody else. The 42 chapters, the 17,000 members, that I'm here to serve you. And when I show up in your town, in your city, what can I do to serve you? Yes, I get to be the spokesperson for the organization, but in the end, what's important for your chapter? What's important for your community, and how can I help?
Well, and here's yet another title to add to your list of growing titles. Is what you're doing with EXP. You're now leading a sales organization spanning the residential, commercial, and global engagements.
Yeah.
Is there any delegating of responsibilities with a team, and how do you help them manage that workload?
Right. So approaching 1,400 agents in our organization. The answer is absolutely. I have to delegate. Absolutely. All right. Everyone has my cell phone.
Yep.
Okay. So the question is, how do I organize and delegate? Okay. Well, very systematic. I use a CRM, and consumer relationship management database. All of my team are in there. They categorize by what is important to them. They're categorized by state, because I'm by state, right? We're in 37 states and 5 countries. So when I'm communicating to them, I'm not spamming 1,400 agents. I'm drilling down to what's going on in the local markets. For instance, I'm going to Barcelona tomorrow. Leaving for Barcelona tomorrow, and we have a team in Barcelona. So, of course, there's 22 of them in Barcelona. There's a WhatsApp group for them. Hey, I'm coming to Barcelona. I arrive at this time. I leave at this time. Team dinner is at that time. Here's my cell phone. If you need to reach me, I hope to see you there. So when I get back, I go to California, Southern California. So I have a group in Southern California. I says, hey, I'm there. So one-on-one and group communications. For my leaders, I call them my generals. I probably would say 1 out of 100 are generals. 99 just want to follow, and that's quite okay. So really, when you think about it, I've got about 14 generals that I talk to on a daily, if not a weekly, if not daily basis, one-on-one conversations. Just pick up the phone. On my way here, I had an hour and 5 minutes to drive, right? I was on the phone with 3 people.
Yeah.
Right? Three of our team leaders right here on the East Coast. And then sometimes, like tonight, I'll come back from our golf outing, and it'll be late, right? It might be 6, 7 p.m. Well, it's not 7 p.m. in California. It's only 4 p.m.
Right.
So then I call my leaders in California on the way home and make full use of the time to communicate.
Sure.
Brilliant.
Well, and EXP's been immersed in the real estate investing space.
Yes.
Why is that?
EXP is an entrepreneurial platform. Glenn Sanford, our founder, says that this is where the pros go to grow. That's our tagline, where the pros go to grow. Pros from all walks of life who have one common denominator, and that is real estate. Glenn himself is very entrepreneurial. He considers himself not as a real estate agent, but as a innovator, as a creator of businesses, of systems. And so we welcome a lot of different talents from all walks of life. And the one thread is real estate. And
Sure.
many of us do real estate investing. We're also a very investor-friendly real estate brokerage. Not many brokerages have what we have, which is for every deal that our real estate agents do, personal deals, flipping houses, doing deals, they get 3 deals a year and keep 100% commissions, minus some minor errors and omissions fees to cover the paperwork. But that's it. So that alone sends a big message compared to some of our friendly competitors who says, hey, your split is 70-30. Even if you do your own deal, you're paying the house 30%.
Sure. The house, yes.
The house got to get paid,
Yep.
right? Some way, somehow. But
Yep.
Here at EXP, Glenn has that very entrepreneurial spirit that says, hey, I'd rather keep you.
Sure.
If you're doing your own deal, hey, you're my business partner. You get the same treatment I do, which is 100%
Sure.
on your personal deals.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love those answers, Tom, because it's so important for our audience to hear, not only from Suzanne and I, but from an industry professional that's done just about everything. Technology was one takeaway that I had with the CRM, and then communication, right? You are always talking to people, always making the most of your time. So if Tom Truong can find a way to do it, then our investors at home listening should find a way and find time to do it as well, because that's what the most successful people are doing.
Absolutely. The communications is so important. Another saying that my team always hear me say is the fortune is in the FU. You said there's no swearing, but the fortune is in the, thank you. The fortune is in the FU. Right? And so a lot of folks just don't follow up.
Yeah.
Right? You make a connection once and then you forget about it. You don't put them in your CRM. You don't say that, hey, I met Suzanne on June 20th at the RCN Capital studio, and we talked about this, right? And it's in my notes. So from here on out, I have your card tonight or sometime later on today.
It's my cell on it.
It has your cell on it. You're gonna go into my database, right? And then it's gonna remind me when I pulled you up again when I last met you, right? Mackenzie behind the cameras. I know who she is. She's in my contacts, my contacts, and I know what she does. And when was the last time we made connection?
Yep. Practicing what we preach. I love it.
100%.
All right, so we're moving on to our first segment of the episode. Our audience knows this one well, but it's deal breaker, deal maker. And that's going to be one moment from your career that served as a turning point or a launching pad, help you become successful and kind of landed you where you are today. Is there one thing that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah. One thing that's, yes. My mom has been a role model all my life. And she always said, Tom, show up early, get involved, and stay late. She said that all growing up, and it wasn't until I got my first real job at that insurance agency that she reminded me again. And she said, show up early, get involved, stay late. And that has been my mantra for all my career. Today, I showed up very early. I gave myself 2 hours when MapQuest or Waze only told me it took an hour and 10 minutes because I don't know if an accident's going to happen along the way and it's going to put me back. As a pro, you got to show up early, especially for something that's important, right? So show up early, get involved. I'm really involved here. I've prepared for this meeting, and I'll stay late as possible if you need me to, okay? By doing that, I think it shows your passion, it shows your commitment, And it shows the rest of the world who you are as an individual, as an entrepreneur, someone they can trust, as someone they can count on.
That's huge in the space.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been one of the best interviews so far. Tom Truong, you are not disappointing. I'm so happy our audience is getting to meet you. We're going to take our first break of the episode, though. We'll be right back. You want to stay tuned for what Tom Truong has to say. This is going to be a great one. Thank you.
See you soon.
RCN Capital offers flexible loan programs designed to help wholesale partners close their clients' deals faster. From fix and flip properties to long-term rentals, new construction, and multifamily investments, we provide your clients with the funding solutions they need. With competitive terms and a quick approval process, we make it easy to focus on growing your business while we handle the financing. Learn more or apply today. Click the link in our bio or email info@rcncapital.com. Let RCN Capital help take your wholesale deals to the next level.
Welcome back to our Uncontested Investing episode with Tom Truong from eXp Realty. So why is building the right team so critical in real estate?
Building the right team gives us leverage. It expands our talent pool. It certainly gives us an advantage, a knowledge advantage, above others who are out there on their own, right? Massive leverage.
Sure.
Yeah.
So an EXP, is certainly a growing entity in the space. Where do you see EXP expanding now?
Yeah. So, man, when I started with EXP 7.5 years ago, we were in 47 states and and Canada. And now, 7.5 years later, we are in 27 countries. Back then, when I joined, there were 6,000 agents. We're now approaching 90,000 agents worldwide, right? I'm heading to Barcelona tomorrow to help expand that team. And then where we are going, we say that in the next 5 years, we'll be in 50 countries. So we'll almost double the number of countries we are in. And let's shoot for 250,000 agents.
That's a good goal.
And the reason why we're going to get that done is because we are very entrepreneurial. Here at our brokerage, the agents run the asylum. The agent run it.
Not the inmates.
The inmates run the asylum. That's what I meant. Right, that's what I want to say, right? It's not top-down management.
Yep.
It's actually bottoms-up management, and that's what I love about it.
But I think the agents also run the asylum.
Their agents do run the asylum, yeah. I used to be a broker owner, and believe me, they did.
So when we look at it through the lens of an investor, when you're talking about building a team or assembling it, what point in their career should they be thinking about that, right? Is that day one they need support, or should they kind of learn some lessons on their own and maybe get to a point of success and then start thinking about a team? Where do you land on that?
That's a great question. So I'll come at it from 3 perspectives. If you're a licensed real estate agent or even a solo renovator, okay, you only have so many hours in the day, right? If you're as hardworking as me, you're putting in a full, honest 8 hours a day, maybe you stretch it to 10 hours a day, and that's an honest day's work.
For part-time.
For part-timers, that's right.
Indeed.
At some point, your business is going to grow. As an agent, you're going to have more clients to service. As a renovator, hopefully you come across more deals to service. Well, you got a choice. Do you work 15-hour days and take time away from your family, your kids, your hobbies, your community, or do you start to build a team and find leverage? And so at some point in time, you're going to have to make that decision. What sacrifices are you going to give? Most people might think, you know what, I can stretch it. And then what suffers? Your health, your mental health, your physical health, your relationships, something else. And the reason people do that is because they don't want to split the pie. They want to eat the whole pie. And for me, I'm okay splitting the pie in many, many parts, right? Because I come from a world of abundance. It's that old Henry Ford saying, Would you rather earn 100% of your own efforts or earn 1% of 100 others' efforts? Right? For me, it's 1% of 1,400 others' efforts. Literally, that's pretty much what I make.
Sure.
I make about 2% on every transactions our agents do across the world versus 100% of my own.
Well, eating the whole pie gives you a stomachache also.
It definitely gives you a stomachache. Yeah. And then when you get sick, no one's around to cry with you.
Yes, indeed. So what are some of the key roles investors should consider as they're sourcing their team members?
Key roles to source their team members. We all know that you make money when you find the deal. When you buy the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the number one role is to get others to recruit others to help you find the deals. That might come from wholesalers, that might be real estate agents, that might be just pure grit, door knocking, mailers, letting people know that you're there. And so at some point in time, you've got to find the deal. Without a deal, you don't have a business.
Sure.
And so I think that's the first position that you've got to look to. And then after that, figure out what your hourly rate is, right? If your best traits are whatever it might be, and you figure that out, it's say $100 an hour is what you're worth. Well, then don't be doing a $28 an hour work when you can delegate that to an executive assistant, to a virtual assistant, to maybe an accountant that only charges $25 an hour, and you're making $100 an hour. That's the second position, is now to find leverage, right? And so, currently I have 3 executive assistants. They literally work 20 hours a day. There's only 4 hours a day where they're off the clock. That's between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. Otherwise, I have 3 executive assistants who work 8-hour shifts, and they overlap by 2 hours, so that whenever I fire off a task on our WhatsApp group, one picks it up, and before she stops, the other one takes over, and it's always working.
That's awesome.
Well, and that's a great way to look at it too. When you say, what is my hourly rate, and I shouldn't be doing a $20 an hour job.
Yes.
And I think that I think will resonate very well with this audience on helping them decide when should they decide a handoff is appropriate.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I feel, so once upon a time when I was renovating, let's say 2-3 properties a year, I could handle doing a lot of things on my own. But when we got to 6 deals a year and 12 deals a year, there's no way. And so, I would coach our other investors to say, why are you doing that clean out when you're worth $100 an hour and you can hire clean out guys for $25 an hour?
Yep.
It will take you 4 days to clean out versus hire a crew and it'll be done in 1 day. Right? And you have carrying costs, you have everything else that goes along. And you're worth more than that. Take those extra 3 days and go door knocking around the neighborhood and tell them, hey, I'm down the street. I just bought that ugly old house. It'll be coming up back on market in 90 days, 6 months, whatever. And I have contractors in the area. If you need any help with some plumbing, some electrical, some landscaping, let me know. Come over.
Right.
That's how I make friends.
Sure.
And oh, by the way, who do you know that might be looking to sell a house? Easy.
Or buy this one.
Or buy this one. And wouldn't that be much better use of your time for those 3 days instead of cleaning out a house?
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly.
Terrific.
So when we talk about the first steps, right, when you're thinking about the team members that you want to add, do you have a vetting process that you've established personally that you try to stick to? Maybe a set of questions or things, kind of character traits that you look for when you're vetting somebody to kind of add them to the fold and be a part of your team?
Sure. Early on in my, leadership days, management days, I would think that I can help everybody. That everybody can be helped.
Yep.
Not true. I can help everybody who wants to help themselves.
Yep.
So the benchmark I have is, well, if we have a team meeting at 9 a.m., and you legitimately can't be there at 9 because you're taking your mom to the hospital that same time every week and you can't make it, I get it. I'll record it and make sure that you watch the replay. But if there's no other reason other than you just blew it off, you didn't put it on your calendar, you didn't make it a priority, you didn't show up, then when you call me later on, and if I have 3 others that are waiting for my call because they showed up, guess who I'm going to return their calls first, right? So help those who help themselves, help those who show up, help those who are plugged in and who are participating.
And show up early.
And show up early. And you can always tell who's really in it to win it or who's just in it because they've got nothing else to do with their life other than waste your time.
I don't need help with that.
Right?
We're going to head into our next segment. It's called What's the Word? If you can boil it down to one word or a motto, what's the message or inspiration for you throughout your career or in 2025 specifically?
Sure. So I mentioned my mom earlier. The one word or motto is help 100 people. See, if my mother, 2 weeks before she passed, I didn't know that she was passing, right? In a quiet moment in Houston, Texas, where she had come back from Hawaii. She retired in Hawaii. She came back to Texas to live with my brother because her health was deteriorating. And I went there and I visited with her. And in the quiet moments at night, I sat with her next to her bed and she held my hand and she goes, Tom, will you do me a favor? Will you, for the rest of your life, help at least 100 people get to where you are? And of course I said yes. And I had no idea how I was going to do that. No idea. Okay. And so 2 weeks later, she passed. And about 2 months later, EXP came on my doorstep and showed me the opportunity. With EXP, I can help a lot of people get financially free, personally free, location free, stress free. Okay. So help 100 people become successful. That's been my motto. But then I had to adjust it because I can't help everybody. Because see, I'm in very specific space. So that's the real estate space. I can't help someone in the medical industry. I can't help someone in the, automotive industry. I can't help my flooring guy or my house cleaners get financially free unless they want to get into real estate investing. That was up until now. My newest project I'm very excited about. I'm building an infrastructure for a super highway up blockchain, getting into cryptocurrency.
Okay, yeah.
I've come across some folks who are just massive in the space, and we are building a blockchain that has to do with helping real world assets, real estate developers, raise money at a fraction of the cost. Okay. So now in 2025 is I can actually help everybody in the world become personally financially free and walk along with them because they don't have to learn this world of cryptocurrency on their own. They have me and our team to help them along.
Well, and think of the impact that'll have on the housing shortage simultaneously.
Thank you. And it all ties in to what my career has been invested in, which is real estate, right? I've been circling the wagon about cryptocurrency and blockchain and all this stuff for a long time, for over 15 years, but I could never make sense. I could never make sense for me and how it ties into my world of real estate. Yep. And so that's what I'm doing now. Now I can really listen to my mom and help a lot of people.
Yeah. More than 100.
More than 100.
Thank you for sharing that, Tom. These segments usually bring up those personal moments and in those memories. So thank you for sharing something that powerful because that's certainly impactful. I know your mom's proud of the work you're doing and continue to do. So that's great stuff, and it's on par for all the answers you've been giving us today. We're going to take our second break of the episode. As you can see, Tom Truong is delivering and then some. We'll be back with a few more questions. We're going to wrap it up, get these two to a golf tournament later on today. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with this week's episode of Uncontested Investing.
See you soon. REI Inc. is the premier monthly publication for real estate investors. Dive into a wealth of expert insight and strategies from industry leaders and gain valuable regional market insights, ensuring you always have the best information at your fingertips. Visit rei-ink.com to elevate your real estate investment game today.
And we're back with this week's guest, Tom Truong, real estate entrepreneur and currently managing 3 different channels at eXp Realty. I challenge you to find a busier man in real estate than Tom Truong. Tom, thank you for your time and your generous answers today. We're talking about building out your team, There's been some great conversation so far. When we talk about the communication and expectations, I think that's two very important things for a leader to convey to their team. How do you handle that?
Clear, concise, understandable, followable direction is so important. And so when I communicate with our team and I set goals, I want to make sure that those are not just my goals, that they are the team's goals, and that their goal, it's also their goals, that we're working towards the same result. And when I write my goals or try to communicate my goals, have to be really clear about that. The verbal word and then the written word, right? I came from an insurance world, and one of my mentors in the insurance world says, if it's not in writing, it's not in this world.
How interesting.
Yeah.
So once you communicate it verbally, if you do that, you follow up with the written.
Yes.
And then it has to be a SMART goal, which has to have a timeline on it. So when should people expect to when are you expecting this to get done? Right? I mentioned earlier, I have 3 executive assistants that work for me. And when I basically give them a goal, I say, this is A, which is a priority, B, which is get to it next, C, which is wait until you get A and B done until you get to C.
Yeah.
Some sort of timeline. And so then you got to measure it. Well, if it has to get done immediately, then what I do is I make a mental note as well as in my calendar to follow up the end of the day or whenever the deadline is and says, hey, how we're doing. Right?
So what's your approach when a team member isn't performing as expected?
Yeah. Reminds me of a book that I've read early on in my career. It's called The 1 Minute Manager. The approach is you have a 1-minute conversation, you follow it up, and then if they're not performing, you pick up the phone and for 1 minute, you remind them about the goal. You remind them about why it's important to get that goal, and you get their buy-in. They get them re-engaged, make sure that they say, yeah, that's an important goal, I'll get that done. And then if that still doesn't happen, then you got to do the 1-minute reprimand. And you say, hey, man, what's going on? Is something else going on in your life that's like taking your focus away from this project? Tell me what's going on. And really get their feedback. And sometimes people do have stuff going on in their life, and maybe it's too personal and that they're not sharing it, and all they have to say is, Tom, I'm going through some personal stuff. Is that okay? How much time do you need? Should I give it to Susie instead? And so I'll just have clear communication. And I remind them it's their goals too, because they're part of the team.
Yeah. But it also gives them buy-in.
Yes. Getting the buy-in is so important. Right? It's the sandwich approach. You hit them with, hey, you're doing great. I know, Suzanne, you've always been good. You've always hit your timeline. Something's going on that's not so right here. You can do it. Right? It's a sandwich approach.
And sometimes people in that scenario or situation, they just need somebody to ask, right? They're bottling it in. Like you said, there might be something personal or something outside of work taking their mind off of it.
Yeah.
And just, showing that a manager cares and is willing to even ask them about, maybe that opens the door for them to talk about it, and then they can put it behind them and continue to move on and be successessul.
Yeah. Or maybe my directions weren't clear enough.
Yeah.
And they're confused and they don't want
that big.
and they don't want to sound like they don't know what I'm talking about. It sounds stupid or something. Yeah. Well, no, it's just communication. Remember earlier, I'm going to walk with you. Yeah. I'm in it with you. I'm not going to ask you to clean out the dumpster if I'm not going to jump in the dumpster with you. Right? Yeah. Now we can hire someone else at $25 an hour clean the dumpster. We'll do something else.
I hit 30 for them.
Tom, you mentioned it earlier, right? Not everybody has that mentality of putting your money on the table as well, taking that walk with them. What sparked that in you that allows you to do that, right? When you want to set yourself apart from the competition,
yeah.
What gave you that idea, I guess, to be that involved to that extent?
Sure. So we all go to real estate investment meetups and groups, right? And I hear people, I spent 10 grand doing a 2-week course. I spent $3,000 this past week. And now I hired a coach for $500 a week or $1,000 a month or something. And they're coaching me on the deal. I'm like, okay, cool. And so they find a deal. They ask me for my opinion. I says, well, why are you asking me for? You're paying a coach $1,000 a month. Is your coach involved? Will your coach put your money where his or her mouth is if they're telling you to do the deal? something's wrong with this picture.
Yep.
And that was really the catalyst of me shifting my thinking to do that. Well, you know why? Because with a partner like RCN Capital, you guys know, if I find the right deal, there's unlimited financing, isn't it?
Yep.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
If I find a deal and I don't have the down payment that you guys require, well, then guess what? I can go out and, if I truly found the deal, I can get my friends and family to invest in the deal and earn a management fee.
Yep.
If I find a deal and I don't have enough cash or equity to do the deal, well, there's many real estates at those real estate investment groups who's always looking for deal, and I can earn a wholesale fee, can't I?
Yes.
Sure.
So there's no reason why anybody can't have some skin in the game.
Yeah. And I think talking about networking events is kind of a perfect segue into the last question that I have for you today is, what advice would you give to a new investor that's just starting out, right? They don't have a network. Should they be on social media? Are there certain networking events that they should go towards, certain ones that they should stay away from? Do you have any advice for that new investor with no network?
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
If you go to, Eventbrite and you search real estate investment group, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go to that, grab a few business cards. That's all you need. Start developing relationships and stay in touch. Put them into your CRM. Follow up. Hey, you said you're a wholesaler, right? What deals do you got going on? Follow up every month. What deals you got going on? What deals you got going on? What deals you got going on? After 7-10 touches, they're going to remember you as the real deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so that's what I would say. And it doesn't take long, Nate,
Yeah.
for anyone to build up a Rolodex. Yeah. I firmly believe you drop me in a city anywhere in the world, give me 90 days and I will find a deal. I will find a great real estate agent to make sure that they know what they're doing, that they can source the deals for me. I will go to these meetup meetings to meet with contractors, attorneys, title people, financing people. It won't take me long.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're talking about building out a team, there you have it.
Well, for a passion project, is there anything that refreshes or recharges you and makes you a better industry professional?
Back to that focus is who can I help today? Whose life can I enhance tomorrow? Who went to bed last night praying for somebody to help them, praying for solution? And if I find that, I just might be able to assist them if they're willing to walk with me.
Walk with you, walk alongside with you.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, that's my passion project. I'm always in search of that entrepreneur who can put the work behind herself or himself, and let's go get to work and change your life.
There you go.
That's a great way.
Yeah, I think so. And cut. In all seriousness, Tom, thank you so much. All the answers were great today. I think our audience will have learned something and be a little bit moved. So you can't really beat that combo when you're talking about listening to a podcast episode. Suzanne and I, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
It's
been great.
Thank you, RCN.
For Suzanne Andreessen, I'm Nate Zielinski, and that's Tom Truong. This episode has been one of a kind. We appreciate all of your support as an audience. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on these videos. Keep growing our community so messages like Tom's can reach a larger audience and help more investors on their journey. For us at Uncontested Investing, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Uncontested Investing. Questions about today's episode or the podcast? Email podcast@rcncapital.com and make sure to follow REI Inc. magazine on LinkedIn and Facebook and RCN Capital on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. See you all next time.